Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday morning. Hey, Fifth Dimension, how's it going? Gonna make sure we got everything ready. We do need to make sure that we start more or less, rather quickly, just so that we can get through. We have so much headlines that we missed that we gotta run through a lot of them, so bear with me, folks. This time I came prepared with my coffee, so everything is good. Alright, folks. This Saturday, I believe, was a Trump rally. I think it was Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. So lots of wild claims. Let's see if we can. Let's see how much we can manage of this before it's too much. I do apologize in advance that I must subject you to this.
No one can blame the great state of Iowa because, boy, we under Biden. Violent criminals and bloodthirsty gangs are taking over our grounds. I don't know how, and we're going to keep it here.
All right.
Hello, Iowa, and congratulations to the Iowa Hawkeyes. That was a big win today. I'm thrilled to be back. That was a big win. But I'm thrilled to be back, especially on such great news as that. That was a big win. You beat a great school, a great team, a great tradition, really an amazing job. And it all started right here. And we're going to keep it here, number one, right? We're going to keep it here. The fairgrounds, so they broke a record tonight. In the history of the fairgrounds, I don't know how old it is, but in the history of the fairgrounds, this is the most people they've had. So thank you very much. And all of you are hardworking American patriots that we know, and we love you all. As we gather tonight, millions of Americans are realizing that Joe Biden and the radical left have brought our nation to the brink of ruin. There's never been anything like what has happened. After just 9 months under Biden,
hey, Dr. Polyon.
Criminals and
really? You got proof of that? Send me proof of that, or ban. Send me proof of that wonderful claim, or ban. Send me proof of that, or ban. Come on. Alright, folks. Chat, who wants to take a bet that we're gonna get some type of, Breitbart, Fox News, OANN type deal? Come on. That was a big claim you just made. I'm sure you have a plethora of evidence to back that statement up, or are we just making statements because we like to make statements? That's not evidence. That literally, first of all, audit in Arizona isn't a source. An audit in Arizona isn't a source. Furthermore, for the fourth time they audited that, I believe it was Maricopa, and they all found that Trump lost. So get fucked.
Bloodthirsty gangs are taking over our streets. Illegal aliens and deadly drug cartels are taking over our borders. Inflation is taking over our economy. China is taking over our jobs. The Taliban has taken over Afghanistan. You are hardworking American patriots that we know, and we love you all.
Okay, so he just made a whole bunch of claims.
Millions of Americans are realizing that Joe Biden and the radical left have brought our nation to the brink of ruin. There's never been anything like
the existential threat. So just to be clear, let's see how many points we can knock off today. What was the even rally? 4. Well, Thandera, to be honest, I think he's preparing for a run. To be honest.
What has happened? After just 9 months under Biden, violent criminals and bloodthirsty gangs are taking over our streets.
Well, this is news to me. For those folks that live in the United States, do you see a violent criminal gang taking over your streets? Just tell them to watch Fox News. True. I mean, you could tell by the username, no vax, no mask. That's the only reason any politician goes to Iowa. True. Hey, Silver Knight Dragon. So yeah, criminal gangs are just taking over our streets. Wow. Big claim.
Illegal aliens and deadly drug cartels are taking over our borders.
Wow.
Inflation is taking over our economy. China's taking over.
Yeah, but there's a reason for these things, right? There's a reason why, there is a, uptick in inflation. A lot of it, from what I understand, is due to the supply chain being messed up, which is still recovering, by the way, because of the pandemic. Nothing to do with anything.
Over our jobs, the Taliban.
Wait, they're taking over our jobs? Can you name an example of how that works? Also, it's just not true.
Has taken over Afghanistan.
Okay.
Lunatic leftists are taking over our schools, and
oh,
radical
no.
socialists are taking over our country, and we're not.
Wow, hey guys, holy shit. Folks, we did it. We did it. Test, okay. Right. Let's Silver Knight Dragon. Apparently, according to Trump, the entire country is socialist.
We're not gonna let that happen. We're not gonna let that happen. And you can't say I didn't warn you, but
I didn't warn you.
I also can't say you didn't get out, because you got out and voted like no sitting president has ever received votes before. The election was rigged. But as disastrous as the Biden administration has been...
Oh, wait, hold on, sorry. I gotta stop it here. The election was not rigged. There's zero evidence that this election was rigged in any way, shape, or form. Till this date, audit after audit after audit has proven time and time again that the election wasn't rigged. There was no evidence of any widespread voter fraud or any electoral fraud to the point where it could even remotely even change the outcome of the election. The handful of situations that were found were caught and dealt with accordingly, and furthermore, no different than any other election we've had in the past.
Blame the great state of Iowa because, boy, we did really good here. Iowa, what a place. And by the way, nobody's ever been better to Iowa and the farmers than Trump, I can tell you that.
Well, that's not true either. That's not true either. A lot of the reasons why the farmers in the Midwest got super effed was because of Trump's disastrous attempt to do like some type of trade war between China. He ended up effing the farmers, and then he attempted to keep them afloat with bailouts, which I thought they were against, but hey, whatever. In the end, it didn't even help them as much. The police are the only violent gangs I see running the streets.
First, you rejected Joe Biden by
I wonder if that's what he means.
delivering him a humiliating fourth-place finish in the Iowa caucuses. You remember that? He came out. He didn't even stick around. He left.
Wait. If he's talking about the Democratic caucuses, why would Why would the Republicans have anything to do with this? What? This doesn't make any sense.
Then you came out in record numbers to give us thundering 8-point landslide victory, a big, beautiful victory in November. You proved why Iowa should continue to vote first in the nation. That's right, first in the nation.
What?
And Jeff understands that, right, Jeff? First in the nation.
Hey, Jeff.
And just this week, the latest Des Moines Register poll showed that Biden is at a record low 31% approval in Iowa. Who the hell are the 31%? Is anybody here that voted? Any 31%ers?
I need 31. Wait. Yeah. So, okay, so the Trump rally is being asked if there are any Biden voters. Flawless, unbelievably flawless logic. Yes. Yes. This just in. Rallies determine election counts.
Your all-time favorite president. This is a negative poll for Trump. I mean, they don't like me too much, but we can't complain, I guess. Is at a record high. We're right now at the highest we've ever been. 53% approval, which for a radical left newspaper is not bad, right?
Radical left.
You saw some of those polls? Texas is in play. We won by a lot. Florida's in play. We won by a lot. Ohio's in play. We won
Not
by
really,
a lot.
actually.
He's down 17 points in the state of Wisconsin, and actually, we won by a lot.
Didn't he lose that one?
Twice. Remember last time they had us down 19 points in Wisconsin and we won. I said, why is that? Why do they do that? Because they want to keep people from going and voting. It's called suppression. There's suppression polls. They should be illegal, but basically it's the fake news. Oh, yeah.
Wait. So polls that I don't like are suppression polls. Got it. Okay. Yeah, so just to be clear, what we're watching is not a rally, but it's like a cult gathering, okay?
A lot of people there. Fake news.
Fake news. Yeah, so like, I love how like he attacks the media all the time, but still wants them there to make sure they broadcast his stuff. I mean, you really can't make this up. So imagine being triggered by the media. Imagine being triggered by the media, but yet continue to invite them or continue to let them cover your rallies.
It's the fake news. As we speak, Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats in Congress are trying to ram through a $5 trillion wild spending binge that costs more than the entire sum the United States has spent on any war in the history of our country.
Nope. So, first of all, what he's trying to say is that first of all, not correct. It's not 5 trillion. It's 3.5 trillion, and it's over 10 years. Okay, it's over 10 years. Surfer McGritty rating with a party of 7. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Howdy, howdy, everybody. Real Dan Cody, howdy, howdy. Skiddedeer, how's it going? How is Biden different than Trump? Are you okay, buddy? Just to be clear, this isn't like a Biden stan channel, okay? But are you serious?
Not only is this the largest spending bill of all time and the largest tax hike of all time, this monstrosity
That's
so
not true.
dangerous for...
So that's not true at all. The proposed taxes are mostly going to be on just back to before the Trump era. And a raise on like capital gains tax, I believe. I have to double check that. Memo for the record, how's it going? Trump cost the USA $88 billion in 4 years. I'm not sure. Biden is fighting the Chinese Communist Party way more than Trump. What? He is fighting? Is he fighting the Chinese? What? I don't get it. I need coffee. Grab your coffee and have a seat, Memo.
For our country and so bad for children and grandchildren to come. This monstrosity is a bill to end America as we know it. It's
End America,
so
the existential threat, folks. Ending of America is when we build infrastructure. The end of America is when we provide 2 years of community college. The end of America is when we extend child tax credits. The end of America is when seniors get more benefits from Medicare. Just to be clear, this is exactly what's being proposed, and this is what Trump is making as the end of America as we know it. Like, okay, dude.
And the Republicans have to stay strong. You have to stay strong. You have to fight. Bring our country back. It's a socialist transformation bill. It's an open borders bill. It's an American...
It's not a socialist bill. It's not an open borders bill. There's nothing to do with immigration from what I understand. Okay, that's a big claim. Do you have evidence for that, or... We need a president to put Xi... Like, what does that mean, exactly? What does that mean to put Xi Jinping down? What is it? Please illuminate us. What does that mean? What does that mean? Must be elected? How does it... Okay, so apparently you don't know how that works. Anyways, this reminds me of the big pharma commercial that said if Democrats tax the pharmaceutical companies, they'll get their feelings hurt and not make medicine anymore. True.
Energy destruction bill. First time ever we had energy independence, ever.
What?
Now they're calling OPEC, Russia, and other countries. Please send us some oil, will you? Please.
What?
We were finished with that. We had more, by far. When I left office, we had more energy, we had more coming in, we had more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia by far, than Russia by far.
I'm gonna need
them, asking if they'd help out in Alaska.
I'm gonna need a source for that claim. I'm gonna need a source for that claim that Trump just made because I don't believe it. Second of all, you know what would be great? You know what would be massive for... You know what would be massive for energy independence? A move to the most robust renewable energy plan, period. the most renewable energy plan, period, to decouple ourselves from fossil fuels, to be literally energy independent using renewables. Which, by the way, this apparently socialist spending bill, the 3.5 trillion over 10 years, does include some provisions to maybe begin that process. He probably thinks it's a country.
They killed Anwar. They've been trying to get it since Ronald Reagan couldn't get it. And I got it.
What?
That's right. For many, many years, for decades, and now perhaps the biggest drilling site anywhere in the world, as big as Saudi Arabia. And now, you know what they did? They terminated it. Lisa Murkowski, Republican, did a really bad job for the state of Alaska. That I can tell you. It's an illegal, race-based discrimination bill. It's a corrupt elections bill. Oh, wait till you look at what they have about your elections. Like, the elections aren't bad enough and corrupt enough. It's a bank.
Okay, so notice how he continues to shake, like, the, notice how he continues to shake the, notice how he continues to shake the confidence of our electoral systems, right? By continuously and repeatedly mentioning over and over and over again, the elections are rigged, the elections are rigged, the elections are rigged. He's said it about, I believe, twice or 3 times at this point, right? And he continues to shake the foundations of our electoral systems without a shred of evidence. Without a shred of evidence. Okay? This person is dangerous. This person should never be allowed anywhere near power. I lost you for a minute. Well, we're here. There's little point in hey, James Snapper. There's little point in trying to rationalize the irrational, though. Yeah, I'm not trying to rationalize it. But that is true, though. You're right.
Bankrupt Medicare bill. It's a bankrupt Social Security bill. They'll bankrupt both of them.
What?
And it's a naked power grab by the
It's expanding Social Security benefits. Wait.
likes of Biden and Pelosi and Kamala Harris. Hasn't she done a great job on the border? And Bernie Sanders is in there too. And Omar. How about Omar?
Does he just, like, say names?
Omar's in there too. She doesn't like Israel too much, does she?
Oh, wait, you don't get to talk. Hold on, 1 second. Is he just, like, espousing random names? And furthermore, so I don't know if you guys notice, the folks in the back wearing, Blacks for Trump, do you know who they are? Does anybody know who they are? Can anybody, tell me who those folks are? I can name a couple of grifters for Trump. No, they're not. Well, I don't know if they're paid. Black suits? Nope. Nope, they're not a working crew. Folks, they are, they've never been confirmed, but they're always spotted. Yeah, you know why? Because they are a Hotep type deal. Who are very into the idea that, I think they're in the realm of, like, the Black Israelites, the Hotep type deal, who are very A, anti-Semitic, and B, believe that the black race is superior, so on and so forth. Yeah, that's the type of people who are, you know, it's not a branding exercise, it's on purpose. No, it's not, they're not stooges. Trump always a branding exercise? Yes, but not this one, though. Did you notice, though, when he said Sanders, that people didn't react much? It was when he mentioned Ilhan Omar that they reacted, which tells us quite a lot. It tells us about the populist leanings. Yeah, true. True. Oh, snap, Trump got himself a niche group there. Yeah. This is the type of, yep. Bro, if you ask me again, One more time, please. Ask me again. Responsible for... I don't know, okay? All I can say is that I wish we had all the information, but we don't know, okay? And to make claims, we need to have evidence. And unfortunately, we don't.
Sheha. Didn't she marry her brother, right?
Yikes.
She married her
Wait.
brother. This is nice.
I'm gonna need
They
a
don't
source
do
on
anything
that.
about it. They don't do anything about it. With us, they do everything, right? Oh, they do everything. Congressional Republicans must stand strong. This is not a time for Republicans to fold, to walk away, to quit, to be afraid. Whatever happens, happens. They have to be strong. Don't worry about being impeached. Don't worry about anything. They're worried. One of them was so worried he was going to be impeached. He let everything happen. It was so sad to watch. I watched it. It was really pretty sad. But they just don't seem to have the spine, some of them. Thank you. That was a great word. That's the word I was looking for. You need spine. Here are just some of the ugly surprises hidden in the Democrats' socialist calamity.
Breadtube Circuses, thank you for the follow.
Nonpartisan Joint Committee on Taxation, the Biden spending bill will raise taxes on working families like never, ever before.
Yikes. Unless you think working families are people who make $400,000 or more, then yeah. The way Trump talks is like the leaders in the 30s. Yeah. Yep. The sense of whiteness of all America is really part of the Republican Party. I don't mean to be that in a judgmental way. I mean, I'm not saying that they're racist. What I mean is that they're made up of a group of people who are losing their grip on the world and it makes them anxious. True. The only source you're likely gonna get from Trump is a Big Mac source. True.
The Biden plan would make the United States business tax rate dramatically higher and bring it back to one of the highest in the world, and actually substantially higher than a place called Communist China. Have you ever heard of it?
What?
In fact,
anyways, so the tax proposals that he is the tax proposals is raising the business tax back to what it was before Trump. So okay. Well, I'm not going to disagree that there are certain factions of the Republican Party, particularly those who are America First kind of people, kind of like Trumper, America First kind of people are pretty much there. Breadtube. Yep, Trump is the biggest homegrown terrorist. I think he has a lot of stochastic effects. I think there's like a lot of stochastic effects that he does.
take it into account.
For example, in this rally alone, he has shaken the integrity of our election systems about 2 or 3 times. Now hold on, I don't know if since 1999, but surely 2016 was a turning point, Alio. What do you love? Who do you love? What are these questions? Are you okay? I love democracy and freedom.
All taxes under Biden's plan. The Democrat bill would give businesses an approximately 100% tax advantages to locate jobs in China rather than the United States. Think of it.
Now, hold on. Listen, the whole thing of like jobs shipping over to China has been like a failure of foreign policy for decades now, okay? These are big corporations who lobbied government to allow them to do these type of things. So, yeah.
We're incentivizing people to go to China, but
this has been happening for decades, so he's got no ground to stand on here.
not here. Gee, I wonder why. The Biden plan will build up China, and the Republican Party, we want to build up America. Very simple. Biden's socialist bill also includes mass amnesty and free college. Don't get
It's not a socialist bill.
excited for illegal aliens. Not for you, but for illegal aliens.
That's not true at all either. Holy yikes! Are we gonna have to stop every 5 seconds? Okay, so the Build Back Better plan, the Build Back Better plan contains, first of all, 2 years of community college, and no, there's no specificity on whether or not it's only for illegal aliens or whatnot. Jesus Christ, how dishonest. Called the Great Demographic Illusion, which goes into the comes out, and where that argument comes from, why it's not accurate, regardless of who pushes it. Nice. Wait, dude, you give me so many book suggestions. Like, oh man, I have such a library to go through. Thanks to you, James Napper. I have so much to go through, so much to read. Build Back Better equals strategic autonomy. What? You're not making any sense, but okay.
It includes a blowout increase in chain migration, and it eliminates caps on green cards for foreign workers.
I'm gonna need to check the Build Back Better bill with regards to that.
Lots of luck. By the way, we have created more jobs than ever before. We have. 12 months ago, we had 160 million people working in this country, the highest number by far. African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, women, men, graduates of the top colleges and universities, non-graduates, people that didn't have a high school education, never got a diploma. Every single group had the highest numbers they've ever had. Hundreds of thousands of people are right now pouring into the United States from Haiti. The people coming into our country are uneducated. In many cases,
holy
don't speak the
yikes.
language. They don't have the skills that we need to make America great again. Have you ever heard that expression?
What?
And they've been for many, many years. Sadly,
Holy
they've been
yikes,
unemployed.
Batman.
The Democrat bill will also admit every foreign national previously denied under my national security travel ban. Remember I had the travel ban? Everyone said, oh, what a horrible thing. I said, no, we really don't want people in our country who are going to blow up our cities, if you don't mind.
Holy yikes,
We don't
Batman.
want-
Okay, Jesus Christ. I think the replacement theory is something that has been hinted at by people on the right and the left sometimes. To be honest, this idea that identity as America is becoming more Democrat leaning because it's becoming, quote, less white is, as Alba discusses, a bit of a misunderstanding of census data. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of silly on its face to begin with. It's kind of silly on its face. Like, whenever you think about it, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, like, demographics shift. I don't understand. Do you mean your robotic anti-Trump post? You know what? Pretty much, if you hang tight here, Noto Bud, you'll realize just how much of a grifter and liar he is. So pretty sure, I wouldn't be taking, like, any cues from him.
We don't want Fifth Avenue blown up. They're having enough time with crime on Fifth Avenue right now, and Chicago and lots of other places. We won in the United States Supreme Court for the travel ban, bringing in countless unscreened travelers from all over, terror, afflicted countries, and they weren't allowed to come in. We said, I'm sorry, we want to be politically correct, we want to be nice, I'm sorry. We don't want people that want to hurt our people, that want to hurt our country. I think that's okay.
True, James.
It will include funding for unlimited numbers of unvetted Afghan nationals to be brought to America and given free welfare and government benefits courtesy of you.
Okay, hold on. Can anybody point me to where in the Build Back Better plan is this stated? Wait, where in the big Build Back Better plan is this stated?
The people of Iowa and the American taxpayer, congratulations. I'm sure you're thrilled about it as you have to struggle. And only 3% of the people they crammed into those planes, remember they said, the airlift was, that was great. They had no idea who was getting on those planes. We still don't have any idea. Only 3% were qualified to be taken to a place called the United States of America. Isn't that something? 3%. You're going to be hearing from those people over the coming years in a very bad way, right?
I think you're just spouting ballots. You know who's spouting bilge, whatever that means? Is him.
Includes a plan to demolish the U.S. energy industry, which has largely been done in a period of 9 months, starting with a $630 billion down payment on the socialist Green New Deal, which is throwing money out the window at the expense of future generations of Americans.
No, you know what's throwing throwing out the future generations' capability to survive? Oil. Oil and gas are throwing the next generation's ability to survive out the window. Build Back Better did not exist when this speech was said. Nope, not true. This was done 2 days ago. Sorry, a day ago. Or 2 days ago. Whatever. The point being is, yeah, dude.
The Green New Deal, conceived and made up in about 15 minutes by some radicals sitting around in a room that know nothing about the environment.
Says the obvious climate scientist, Dr. Donald Trump, right? Second of all, it's not something that was done in 15 minutes. Third of all, the Green New Deal is not even included in the Build Back Better plan. However, there are certain climate provisions that are included, but nothing like the Green New Deal. Nothing like that would be required like the Green New Deal.
Their bill includes giant new taxes and fees on American oil, and especially on American gas production that will kill countless oil and gas jobs, devastating workers in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Texas, Oklahoma, North Dakota.
None of this would exist without oil and gas. Earth is a chilly place.
Have already skyrocketed. I saw the other day inflation.
We've evolved past that. I don't know, like maybe hold on, maybe I'm speaking to a time traveler. I'm sorry. What century are you in, Notobud? I'm sorry. So what century are you from? Are you from like the 1500s or 1800s, where we were desperately reliant on oil and gas, or are we in the 21st century where we have new technology that we should be pushing forward and propelling this country into the future? I don't get it.
Inflation is the highest in 24 years. Think of it. But it's going to go up much more. Get ready. The Democrat bill imposes a new energy tax on methane, which is projected to increase your energy costs by hundreds of dollars per year. Percentages that nobody even knows what to say, up 50, 60, 70, and 80% quickly. The bill abolishes the Hyde Amendment, forcing taxpayers to fund the far left's extreme abortion agenda, ripping babies from their mother's womb.
Okay, this like idea, that abortion is just like this idea that abortion is just ripping babies out of wombs. It's ridiculous. You say that while wearing oil, surrounded by oil and energy for this medium more likely than coal. Actually, our energy here is mostly funded by nuclear. So yeah, you're saying like you're holy yikes, Batman. This is today. Did I miss a clown convention today? Is today like clown day? Is today like people did somebody like lose their way to the circus? Did you all just like lose your route to the circus or what? Were people dependent on oil in the 1500s? Not sure. My argument was that this is the 21st century, and we shouldn't just be like, oh well, I guess we can't progress, guys. We're all too dependent on oil. There's not like any new technology whatsoever. That's my argument. It may be inaccurate, maybe not the 1500s, but you get my point. I'm not gonna lie, I've seen a few clown cars driving around. Well, I guess they lost their way to the circus. The kid who talks in his mother's womb can put himself to life. What the heck statement? I'm telling you. Oil and gas was needed to get society to a place where it beats now, but that doesn't mean it has to continue. Yeah, exact. Thank you, James Snapper. Hey, look, if you want my position, check out that comment right there. You can make an argument that oil and gas was needed at that point, but it doesn't mean it needs to continue. We've had renewable technology for decades, and it's only improving now. And getting the state funds it should have been getting 30 years ago.
Right up until the moment of birth, and in fact, killing babies even after birth. You saw that?
What?
In Virginia, with the governor of Virginia, after birth. In the Republican Party, we believe that every child is a sacred gift from God. The Democrat Socialist bill also includes a $1.3 billion payoff to the fake news industry. These people, but we're giving them money. They don't deserve it. By subsidizing and hiring of reporters at media outlets all across the country, meaning liberal media outlets. Can you imagine, on top of everything else?
Yeah, but they won't do that either, Silver Knight Dragon. That's socialist.
To take care of these people that don't report truth. They don't report truth.
Once again, I'd like to point out the fact that he is consistently berating the media while also simultaneously allowing them to broadcast his ridiculous rally, or I should say, like, cult gathering.
They're all going out right now. They're going to buy a new car. Nice one, too. Meanwhile, the media says nothing about Biden's handling of COVID, despite all of the vaccines that we came up with, therapeutics that we came up, and knowledge that we gave. Biden's come up with this horrible period of time. He hasn't done the job because now we have more people that have died of COVID in 2021 with the vaccines, with the therapeutics. More people died in 2021 than in all of 2020. But the media is silent. They don't talk about that. They hate to talk about that. Can you imagine if I were president and had these numbers? And
Pretty sure the media has reported previously, repeatedly on, pretty sure the media has reported on Biden's decreasing, plummeting approval rating, and attributed it to the response of, or attributed it to COVID. So yeah, that's just dishonest.
you know, some people thought, first of all, he didn't get elected. Okay, forget that.
Whoa, that's not true. He absolutely got elected.
People said, oh, sir, it was COVID.
All right, so that's number 3. I think that's the 3rd time at this point that he has said that the election is fraudulent. Again, shaking the foundations of our electoral institutions and our electoral system. The most sacred thing that we have is our vote, and he continues to shake confidence in that without any shred of evidence. This is very disturbing. This is very disturbing. No, don't worry, bro. I got you. Here. Fucking clown. It sounded like he was word salading. Yeah, it doesn't have to.
Incredible. You know, they're allowed to say that about me. They called it illegitimate. They called it everything in the book. It was fine. When I say it, now here's the difference. Hillary conceded. I never conceded. Never.
Well, that puts to bed the whole thing. Like, well, Democrats, were crying about the election in 2016. Well, he just admitted Hillary did indeed concede, and he didn't. 10 months afterwards, or 11 months afterwards. Okay? It's almost a year.
Never conceded. No reason to concede. When you look at the numbers of these swing states, and we're going to go over them real quickly in a little while, but when you hear these numbers of swing states, there was no reason to concede. They should have conceded. They did the honest thing. Attack on our country. Even though the numbers are greater,
it was an
they don't
attack
have
on our country. Are you listening to the rhetoric that this is implying? Holy yikes, Batman.
the Death Watch in the right-hand corner. Remember on CNN, fake news, which is down 80% in ratings. Remember they had Death Watch. Death Watch. And then we don't have that anymore, but they're losing more people, okay? What's going on? That doesn't sound so good. That's because it's fake news. They are the enemy of the people. The Democrat bill contains billions and billions of dollars for unlawful government training programs inspired by toxic and bigoted critical race theory. It's crammed with so-called equity provisions. Equity, you know what equity means? We're going to take it away from you and give it to other people.
Right,
I don't think they're going to
Press.
take it away from too many of you.
It's literally the direct translation, is it not?
But it's a code word for illegal government discrimination that they want to bring to everything from education to housing to healthcare to our military. They're also giving the IRS the power to destroy people, just like they tried to do with the Tea Party, Christian organizations, and just like they've always been trying to do to me. You see that? We fight like hell. We all fight like hell. This bill is a sinister combination of job-killing tax hikes and woke fascism that will destroy our nation. And to think that we had 11 Republicans go along with an extension. Headed up by Mitch McConnell. Can you believe that? Mitch McConnell. 11 Republicans. And you know what it does? It gives the Democrats more time, 2 months, gives them more time to figure it out. They can now have 2 more months to figure out how to screw us, okay? That's what they did. They approved it, and they should be ashamed of themselves. The radical Democrats will lower the final price tag to try to fool the public. They'll come in and go, we don't want the 5, because it's really 5, it's not 3.5. Also, it's not an infrastructure bill. It's 9% infrastructure. The rest is a Green New Deal garbage that you might as well just throw it out, put it in the waste paper basket. But think of it, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, more than anybody's ever even conceived of, most of it for junk programs that will only hurt our country. But the bottom line will always be a socialist transformation of America if they allow this to happen. So when they talk about the debt ceiling, we have a very powerful card there. We don't want to violate that, but that's more important than
Imagine
what they're
being
going
hired
to
to
do
cheer, but
by
so insecure
passing
about it
this
that you have
thing
to
that's
look
going to
around
kill
for
our
approval.
nation.
True.
All Americans of common sense, Republican,
How
Democrat,
many of these
and
hand people
independent
behind our page
must
shows?
stand
No idea.
firm. And you have to really stand strong and firm against Biden, crazy Nancy Pelosi. She's a nut job.
Crazy
and the
Nancy.
extreme power grab. And we must declare with one united voice that we cannot allow America to ever become a socialist country. That's what they're doing.
Wait, I thought America
And I
was
really-
a socialist country. Wait, he just said at the beginning that it was. Huh. Okay.
I think it's a step beyond. I think it's going to be a communist country. We're not letting it happen. But these people, the media, who don't cover anything they do that's wrong, anything they do that's okay, they make it like it's the greatest thing that ever happened. And anything we do that's right, they make it sound bad, evil, and corrupt. They are sick people, and they're really hurting our country. Practically every single Democrat lawmaker in the House and Senate has endorsed this deranged legislation. And that's why every single one of them has to be voted out of office next November. Next November. It's coming up. Time flies, right? Time flies. Remember the election? We said, oh, boy, it will never end. It's just, but listen, in November, we have an election already. I mean, think of it. It's a year from now, we're having an election. So quickly it flies. The 4 years really flew. You know, I did a couple of things. I said, I have two things. Number one is to protect and save our country. And the other thing was to survive against these maniacs. We must send the radical left a message they will never, ever forget. And we must do it by electing record numbers of America First Republicans. And we have a lot
And
of
there it
great
is. Holy yikes, Batman.
We have so many great ones. The Democrats' multi-trillion-dollar spending spree is also going to trigger runaway inflation.
That's not.
And last month we saw yet another dismal jobs report
No,
came out yesterday.
that's not how that works. Okay, so inflation doesn't necessarily mean when you spend a lot of money. When the government spends money, it doesn't always translate to inflation. It depends on how they spend it. And furthermore, 3.5 trillion over 10 years is really not that much.
Did you see those numbers? They were a disaster. In fact, even the radical left newscasters, though, I think we're looking at 600,000 or 700,000. What do you think about? I think 700,000. I think it's 800,000. How about like really less than 200,000? They're saying like, whoa, this is bad. And 10 minutes later, well, it's not that bad, actually. It's pretty good. These people are so corrupt. The media, look, I don't need to do this, but the media is corrupt. And you know what? When I started, I'm so proud of this. Two things I proved. Number one, the elections are totally corrupt in our country. They have been for a long time. But never like
No. Okay, so we got to stop that right. Every time he does this, you have to be you have to give a very strong pushback because this is a wild claim that was never proven. There is not a iota of evidence of this. Okay, there was never any shred of evidence, and he said that it has been for a long time. Not really. Not really. There's no evidence to indicate any of that is true. When the government spends money that it was created of the magic of the Federal Reserve, it will cause inflation. All depends on where the money goes. Yeah, so again, if you spend money to do things like infrastructure and invest in social programs, you get a return on investment. That is actually a net positive. So yeah, it just depends.
like they were this last time. They used COVID in order to cheat and rig.
Nope, that's not true.
Is how dishonest the media was, because they were at 96% approval rating before I came along, and now they're like in, what, the 20s. They're actually, I think, lower than Congress. Is that possible? We're going to witness that deadly combination of no growth and inflation, or what is known as stagflation. You remember stagflation from the years of Jimmy Carter? That's very good. Whoa, let me see what you, oh, she's a historian. Jimmy Carter, stagflation, they were not good years. I was in business, I was saying this isn't good. It was a bad time for our country, but this will be far worse because the numbers are far bigger. Under my administration, we had the exact opposite. We had low inflation, surging growth, and the greatest jobs presidency in the history of our country. And I said that would happen.
Gonna need a source on that one. Alright, speed it up, Chomp. Come on. Move it along.
I keep looking at these big, beautiful screens. Who else is going to give you a big screen like that?
What?
By the way, you know, we have great generals, but not the television guys. These guys are major losers, but...
Wait, by the way, these are the same generals that served under Chomp.
Do you think that General George Patton would have left early out of Afghanistan? Do you think he would have left dead soldiers for no reason whatsoever? And do you think he would have left $85 billion worth of the best equipment?
That number is debunked already.
Anywhere in the world. And you know, Russia and China, they already have samples of our great helicopters. We have the Apache helicopter. We have the best stuff in the world. And they are now re-engineering the equipment. They're de-engineering. They're taking it apart. They're figuring it out. And very soon they'll be building the best stuff for less money. It's a disgrace. What's happened is a disgrace.
Wait.
Think of it.
They'll be building the best stuff for less money. So are you saying that we are artificially charging more money to build the same stuff? Interesting little slip there. So you're saying that there's a possibility that we're actually overspending. Maybe it's to benefit the folks who build said weapons. Maybe it's to give them the profits. Interesting little slip there.
100,000 of the best machine guns, rifles, and guns made anywhere in the world. And I read the other day, there's tremendous numbers of our equipment right now being sold on the black market. Isn't that nice? No, General George Patton, you know,
I wonder where he's getting this information from.
I saw that movie years ago, and a little while ago we were at a rally, and it was a great rally, and I said, you know, could you guys ever find that opening to George Patton?
Oh,
Right?
good
That
lord,
was a
he did
great-
that at another rally. I remember
George
that.
C. Scott. George C. Scott. I don't know. Did he win the Academy Award? Did the movie? I think so. Something like that. They did pretty well, right? But but that was him. In fact, they actually said that wasn't nearly as tough as the real Patton. That was a softer version of the real Patton. But we need that. You know, we did great. We knocked out 100% of the ISIS caliphate. We had great generals.
Not
we
true.
We had a general named Kane. I went to Iraq. I don't want to embarrass him.
So
He's not.
we had great generals, but also the same generals that also served under me are also bad. These are like Schrodinger's generals. Oh my goodness. Schrodinger's generals. When I'm in command, they are good. When I'm not in command, they are bad. Oh, that part is actually true. American weapons are being sold in the black markets all over the world. Okay. Fake news on my part. Fake news on my part. I bet the US does not let its best weapons go beyond US forces.
Not a television general. I'll end up ruining him. He'll probably come out with a bad statement about me because he was told to. But we had a general.
Because he was told to.
At night, every window was dark because they thought it would be this on Air Force One. I said, "Isn't that terrible? The lights were all off. They pulled down the shades. The plane was entirely black. They couldn't see it." And I said, "Isn't that incredible? We've spent trillions of dollars in the Middle East and we can't even land Air Force One with the lights on, right?" But I landed, and it was an incredible experience. I got to meet a lot of great, real people, real soldiers, real generals, real officers. We have great generals. And I said to them, they greeted me at the airplane, immediately whisked me inside. I'm saying, you mean with all the money we spent? But I met two generals that could star in any movie. They had that quality. And a sergeant who was unbelievable, could have been a movie star. I said, you know, you're a good-looking guy, you're a tough guy. Yes, sir. But I met General, I said, General Kane, what's your first name? Raisin, sir, Raisin. I said, you mean like a raisin? Yes, sir. I said, you mean your name is General Raisin Kane? I love you, General. You're what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that. And I said, so, General, they say it's going to take 2 years, General, to get rid of the ISIS caliphate in Iraq, Syria. And do you agree with that? No, sir.
Interesting, Skiddeer.
I said, you don't? Well, my Washington television general said 2 years, and they said we won't be able to do it in that. I disagree, sir. They said, how long will it take? Sir, we can do it in 4 weeks, maybe less, sir. I said, wait a minute, General, explain this to me. Well, sir, they would come here, and they're of a higher rank. I said, did you ever tell them what you have in mind? No, sir, that wasn't my job. I'm a general. I was at a lower rank. They tell me, sir. They didn't ask. I'm not supposed to do that, sir. I'd like to, and I wanted to, but I couldn't. I said, so you did a plan that they didn't want, right? That's what you want to do now. He said, yes, sir. It's very easy. I said, when you say 4 weeks, he said, yes, sir, 4 weeks, and you know what? We're going to have time left over, sir. I said, so what's the difference? They say 2 years and you won't do it. You say 4 weeks and you're going to have time left over. What's the difference? Sir, we'll hit him from 5 different locations. We'll hit him from the left. We'll hit him from the right. We'll hit him down the middle. We'll be launching from Syria, from Iraq, and from all over.
Can somebody
Sir, they
follow
only
what's
wanted
happening? Can somebody unironically follow what's happening right now? Jesus Christ. Trump of the right wing. News are just parrots now defeated themselves. Yeah, well, the thing is, Elio, I don't know if they're defeated necessarily. Nope, yeah, me neither.
us to fly from this big Air Force base that we have right here from our big base, and we're very far away, and it's one location. Sir, we have many locations, and we'll hit them from every damn one of those locations.
Yeah, these are the same generals. These are Schrodinger's generals. While Trump is there, they are good and strong. When he's not there, they are weak or whatever, unpatriotic or whatever it is that he calls them.
And you know what? I said, well, let me give that a little thought, General. I went back and I listened to the other ones, and I said, they're not good. One of them, Milley, actually told me that when we leave, I know where this came from. He went to Biden. I know exactly where this came from because he told me the same thing. Milley, a real genius. He went, you know, I put the Patton thing up, compare that to Milley, but he said to me the same thing as they did. Sir, it's cheaper to leave the equipment than it is to take it. I said, no, wait a minute, and especially being in the construction business, right? I said, so you mean we have a $50 million plane? All it needs is a tank of gas and a pilot. We could have flown over 200 pilots, taken everything out, but we didn't have to worry because the Taliban listened to me. We didn't have one soldier
Oh,
killed.
yeah.
Think of it, in 18 months.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
spoke
yeah.
to
The Taliban would definitely listen to you. Yeah, they're just saying, he's just saying what MAGA wants to hear. You're right, you're right. True, Silver Knight Dragon. Tendera, it's okay. Don't think too much into it. It's already a lot of nonsense going on here.
Abdul is the man running the Taliban right now. They left us alone. And it would have been fine, but what happened is we took all our soldiers out. And I told this one time before to a great group of people, very much like you, from a slightly different state. Remember Biden?
Yeah, he's an entertainer, James Snapper.
Idaho. They said,
yeah, you're
sir,
right.
You're in Iowa. Do you remember that? It's wonderful to be in New Hampshire. Sir, you're in Florida. So we should have known. But I know exactly what happened. Milley went up to him, just like he did to me, but it was unacceptable. With me, I said, I want every nut, I want every bolt, I want every screw, I want every plane and tank, I want the Apaches, I want everything else. And I even want the hangars, you know, those beautiful canvas hangars that hold these big monster planes. They're massive. I said, I want the hangars, I want the canvas, I want the plastic, I want the fiberglass, and I want the steel. I want everything out. And then we're going to bomb the hell out of the 5 or so bases that we don't want. And with Bagram, I hate to say it, but we're going to stay there. You know, it's right next to China. Nice to have a base like that. It's got the longest runway there is. The concrete pad is so thick, I couldn't be in construction. I figured maybe 6 inches. How about like 6 feet? 6 feet thick. And we left it. They spent supposedly $10 billion building, and we left it in one night, and we left all the equipment. And don't believe them when they say they disabled the equipment. They didn't. You see a couple of helicopters, they didn't disable. They got killed for leaving the equipment, and so they disabled a couple of little old helicopters. That equipment is brand new right out of a box, including the night goggles, which are better
real
than
Dan
the goggles
Cody.
we have. They're later models. And including all of the rifles, machine guns, and guns. They're the latest model, the latest and the greatest. So our enemy of many years has all of that. And it's a shame. It's a shame. To see what's happened to our country, it's a shame. But the general was great, so he called me up. I said, General, give it to me one more time. 4 weeks, sir. I said, General, go ahead. Thank you, sir, very much. Now, he doesn't give a shit about television. He's a general. Generals aren't supposed to care about that. And remember this, just to go back for a second. So when Milley told me that, I said, what are you, a nut job? Are you stupid? That's when I realized, that was one of the many times I realized he was stupid. Such a phony story they concocted, but one of the many times. But you know what I realized? He went into Biden and said the same thing. Sir, it's cheaper to leave the equipment than it is to take it. You know, you'll have a $5 million Army tank. You'll have a $30 million helicopter, brand new. You'll have, it's think of this. Even if you just flew it into Pakistan,
Skiddeer,
it's a very
I
short
said,
flight, and then you took your time
let's
and
see
take
how
it.
many points we can hit by the end of this. I mean, it's... Yikes. It is the word of the day.
We should have taken everything. Most importantly, we should have never lost 13 warriors. And you know, nobody talks about this, and we should talk about it every time, every time. We also have numerous
Nah, I don't
young
find him
people
funny.
who have lost a leg, lost an arm. In one case, lost 2 legs and an arm. And nobody talks. We talk about the 13, and we love those 13, and they're looking down on us right now, and they're proud of us because we know what we're doing. But we had some terribly wounded people. And overall, they lost approximately 250 people. That's a terrible thing. Should have never happened. Should have never happened at that location. Should have happened in Bagram, where you have a big wall, actually. Wall. You're not allowed to say wall. They don't like walls, you know. The Democrats don't want to build a wall. It was almost completed. I had to start it 2.5 years later for one reason.
What? You're not allowed to say wall? What? You just said it. What? True, RedTube. The thing is, though, the Taliban will use it against their own people, and that's not right either. True. Did any of these conversations happen? This imagination can be used to as a political novelist. Oh yeah, I'm not even sure, real Dan Cody, to be quite honest. But having spoken to many people who were in the United States military in Afghanistan, and the equipment as a general rule was a joke. He's so impossibly insecure, everything has to be the best, the biggest, trust me. Yeah, I know. His ridiculously hard to follow stories are what makes me laugh. Yeah, I guess, but I stopped like finding it funny a while ago, to be honest.
I had to fight off all the lawsuits where they were suing me, and it was just about finished. They would have finished the wall, but what happened with the general, Raising Cane, is called me up and said, Sir, it's done. I said, done. It's done, sir. And we defeated 100% of the ISIS caliphate.
I think that's
in
also
record
not
time.
true.
Sir, we hit them so hard, they didn't know what the hell was happening, sir. We have great generals. We have great soldiers and sailors and everything.
But also we have terrible generals who have nothing who know nothing of what they're doing, so on and so forth.
I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of Space Force. Remember, they didn't like
Space Force.
Space Force got to be one of our most important. We totally rebuilt the military, but we did this, and that was much tougher than withdrawing from Pakistan, from Afghanistan, which we wanted to do. We wanted to do. And by the way, speaking of Pakistan, Pakistan would have helped us, but we didn't ask them for the help. We give billions and billions of dollars a year to Pakistan, and they don't do anything for us. They don't do anything. They would have helped if we did it the right way. So that's what happened, but we defeated 100% of the ISIS caliphate. Think of that. And we knocked out Soleimani, and we knocked out al-Baghdadi. They didn't know what the hell happened.
Yeah, which
And I'll tell you what,
the
our
Soleimani
country
incident almost started a war.
was respected. Again, this would have never happened, taking the military out first. And I told this, I said, if you look, Abdul, the American soldiers have left. And he said, I'm doing this like shifted to me with the phone call that he made up.
What?
But mine is probably totally true. And Abdul,
What?
the leader of the Taliban, good fighters, by the way, he said, you're crazy. They didn't leave. Are you crazy? Get him out of here. He's crazy. Sir, they left. No, they didn't. They left, sir. And then they sent the patrol in, called back. They said, sir, the Americans have left. He said, I don't believe it. And then they just walked into Kabul, and they walked into the remaining portions of Afghanistan. They didn't do that with me. They didn't do that with me. They respected us. Remember this, again, we had conditions. They weren't meeting them. We'd hit them hard. They would have met every one of those conditions. But remember, the first condition was you can't kill Americans and you can't kill American soldiers. Not one soldier was killed in 18 months. Not one. Think of that. And remember when Biden was making the speech about 3 weeks ago, and it was a disaster.
I'm sorry. Was the Jesus Christ! It's so hard to sift through all the bullshit. So, the 13 soldiers who lost their lives in the withdrawal wasn't because the Taliban shot at them. Okay. The 13 soldiers that he's referring to, or that he continues to refer to, was a suicide bomber, and the responsibility was taken by ISIS-K, which is, I believe, the Afghanistan, the Afghanistan branch.
For him, and he was in the middle of a disaster, but he's protected by the press. They don't even talk about Afghanistan anymore.
That's
they don't
not
even
true.
talk about it. But do you remember when he was making the speech, he said, well, I will say that in 18 months we've lost no soldier. And his people are screaming at him, don't stop there. Why did you bring that up? That's a good thing for Trump. I kept waiting for the but. There was no but. We lost no soldiers for 18 months because Abdul knew that we were going to hit them harder than any country has ever been hit before. Okay, it's very simple. And he understood that. He understood that. Now, it's a very sad thing that happened. I think, to me, Afghanistan is the most embarrassing event in the history of our country. I do think that. And I think that, meaning the withdrawal, we went in there, we didn't fight like we should have. We became a police force instead of the military as we know it. And they didn't fight. But you know what? They did what they did. But to leave in disgrace instead of leaving the way they should have left. When I left office, we handed Biden the most secure border in United States history. And that includes
Irked with the Tier 1 subscription, 4 months.
We shut down asylum fraud.
4 months.
We struck historic
Thank you
agreements
so
with
much.
Mexico and Central American nations to stop
I appreciate the support. Thank you so much, Irked. I appreciate that. Thank you.
illegal immigration. And we built almost 500 miles of powerful border wall, which really helped us. And I want to thank the president of Mexico, a great guy. I said, you have to put your soldiers until we build the wall. You got to put your soldiers. How many do you need? 28,000. That's a long wall. That's a long border. And he did it. He gave us 28,000 soldiers, and that's why we
Literally
did things that nobody else
literally
could do.
just an hour ago.
Now, in all fairness, he did it for a reason. I said, if you don't
Literally just an hour ago, the voices behind Biden's falling polls, young American spending could offset Biden approval. A brutal poll for Biden shows no easy fix. Joe Biden's poll numbers are plummeting exactly at the wrong time. President Biden's approval rating sees slight uptick as summer COVID subsides. Oh, look at that. Finally. You have to scroll down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before you get a slightly positive article. Quinnipiac, are Biden's polls popular? Are Biden's bills? Oh no, this is not his approval rating. Biden's approval rating in polls has dropped. Here's why. Opinion, Biden's poll numbers are even worse than they appeared, from the Washington Post. Biden's a couple last week, right? No, 2 weeks ago. Excuse me, 3 weeks ago. Biden's sinking poll numbers threatened Democrats to raise their thin majority 1 year ago. So the past weeks have been very critical, or at least reporting on Biden's approval ratings, why it's dropping, how much has it dropped. So I don't get what he's talking about. How the media is just so in love or so kind to Joe Biden. And the powerful border wall. Who talks like that? He does.
Don't do it, we're going to put a 25% tariff on all the cars that you make and sell back into the... And they said, yes, we'd love to do it. It would be our honor. Whatever it is, it worked. And we have a great relationship with him and with Mexico, and it worked out great. And then these people came and they tore down everything.
They tore down everything, guys.
All of it's gone, and people are destroying our country. We tracked
Oh
down
my
the gang
God.
members,
Okay, so
the
there's
drug
another-
smugglers and the dangerous criminal aliens, and we threw them in jail. Or we threw
There's another little dog whistle there. Jesus Christ.
them the hell out of our country. Ideally, we wanted to get them out, but some were so dangerous we put them in jail. Yet Biden has systematically reversed every border security policy that we had in place. Oh, that was so
That's
good.
also
You know,
not
I say
really
it,
true.
I mean it. If Biden would have just gone to the beach, just take it easy, enjoy the surf, you'd have a great border today, because it was getting better and better and better. And you hear all the Border Patrol people, even people that work for him, they're saying we should have left it. They didn't have to do anything. It was so good, best we've ever had. And people could come in, but they have to come in legally. Just days ago, even amid the worst border crisis in history, the Biden administration issued an order effectively abolishing ICE. These are great patriots. These are tough people. They would go into these gangs of MS-13, the toughest gangs in the world.
Can somebody point me to where can somebody point me to where that happened? Effectively abolishing ICE? Dude. Huh. Can somebody point me to where that actually happened? Or
They say, and they go in there and the fist would start. I'd say, these people, and I can tell you, I have some tough people in front of me. Some of them are even tough farmers. I don't even think you people want to do what they do. And they loved it. They wouldn't want any other job. And they're great patriots. They love our country, but they were tough. You know, to get rid of MS-13 and some of the worst people that you've ever seen. I mean, typically when you have tattoos on your face, it's not a positive event. It's not positive.
yikes.
When you have a tattoo on your face saying, we hate America, and we say, we'd love to have you, it's great. It's not going to work out well.
Wait, where are
But
these
when you look at
people
what they've
with the
done,
face
ICE has been
tattoos of
so
"We Hate
incredible. They've
America"?
basically taken away their power and their prestige. But they will be
Jesus.
around because nobody can do the job that they did. And that goes for the Border Patrol, our police department, and law enforcement. Our police departments are incredible, and law enforcement. Incredible.
Law enforcement.
I met a lot of them backstage. You have them here. Incredible police. And with the Republicans, there'll be no defunding of the police, I can tell you that. There'll be no defunding.
Oh yeah,
That's
100%
not working out too
Bandera.
well. You see in Minnesota, Minneapolis there. They're not doing too well. They defunded the police and they cut it. And it's a disaster.
He actually is not talking about Antifa. He didn't actually mention them once. He's going to incite more violence and he will never get held accountable. True. I mean, like, the idea that he continues to talk about, I think the most dangerous part of this entire thing is the fact that he continues to push, without a shred of evidence, the idea that the elections are rigged, the voting integrity is gone, all of that kind of like, and that you need to fight for your country and that you need to save America, which I don't know what that means. All of that continuously being pushed 24/7, nonstop. The elections were rigged, blah 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 blah. All of this is probably the most dangerous thing. You can't go on with this for another hour. No, I'm not. I'm not. And hey, Samalian the Kind Dragon, how's it going? No, so trust me, I can't. I'm trying to get as much through it as possible. But yeah, I think that that's probably the most dangerous part of him. No thanks. No then fix. It's hard to tell on text, okay? But now I get it. It's not that I don't have a sense of humor, okay? It's just that it's hard to tell. Listen, we just had like 3 or 4 trolls. No, I would say 2 to 3 trolls. 2 to 3 trolls today. So it was a bit of a spicy morning, so excuse my weariness. Carelessly, it is Indigenous Peoples Day. True. True.
disaster. Crime is through the roof. But it is in other places. New York, it's through the roof. You have district attorneys that are looking at Republicans.
A memorial with
that are
the
looking at
military
people who shoot
branches
people
has only
every day.
Coast Guard
It's crazy.
vandalized.
What's happening
Yikes.
is so bad for this country, so dangerous for this country. People want other people to stop shooting and knifing people to death in broad daylight. Did you see the case in Chicago? Gets out of the car, starts shooting somebody, and they just said, we're not going to press charges. And he's right on tape and right on camera. No, it's a terrible thing that's happening. It's sick. Actually, it's sick. And it's only going to lead to the destruction of our country. And other bad things can happen. Because I don't think a lot of people are going to take it for much longer. I'll be honest. I don't think they're going to take it.
Yeah, they're not going to take it for much longer. I mean, I'm not saying to do anything, though. You know, I didn't say anything to do anything. However, how long are you guys going to take it? You guys need to get out there and save your country and do all of this, and everything is rigged, so you have absolutely no other options on the table. Do you see where this is going?
Other countries are emptying their prisons and sending their murderers and drug smugglers and
That's-
child abusers into the United States.
Literally, that's not true. You're going to have to point evidence to that, and so far, I do not see that that's the case.
We are becoming a dumping ground. We are a dumping ground for very, very serious criminals. And Joe, you know that. You know, I used to say it's in Guatemala and Honduras and El Salvador, but it's not.
I told you on the down low. Yeah.
Including Middle Eastern countries.
Whether he thinks
They're taking
about it
them
or
out
not,
of prison.
that's what's
These are
happening.
seriously tough people, evil people in many cases, and they're dumping them in the United. We're becoming a dumping ground. Never before has a president
That's not true.
shown such contempt for his oath of office. He's supposed to be protecting our country, not destroying our country. Joe Biden has launched a foreign invasion of his own country. Come on in. He said, come in.
You see that language? Invasion.
This is a,
The language of invasion. You're being invaded, folks. That language of that rhetoric of you're being invaded, your country is being destroyed, your country is being you're not gonna have the same country. America's gone. America, as you know, it is destroyed. You need to fight. You need to save America. And also, the elections are rigged, so there's nothing you can do about it in that sense. I mean, like, dude, what do you think is going to happen when people like hear these messages over and over and over again? Holy yikes, Batman. As you said, a 42 expend more asylum seekers in less than a year than Trump did his whole term, right?
this is a sick thing that's happening to our country. Not even explainable. You'd say, I used to say it was incompetence, but it is that. But you know what it really is? I don't know. It's almost like evil. They want this to happen because they're paying $6 million a day to contractors to not finish the war, which could be finished very rapidly. They're paying millions of dollars a day to contractors.
Right, an existential threat. Like, how are people supposed to react, especially propagandized people who continuously hear that there's no other recourse because you can't vote because the elections are rigged. Your country is under an existential threat. You keep hearing the words invaded. You keep hearing these type of rhetoric. Like, what do you think is going to happen? God, this is so irresponsible and so dangerous.
Contractors, they're making a fortune. They're making more money now than they would ever make if they built it. But they're paying millions and millions of dollars a day, a week, a month to these contractors not to build the wall. And you wonder, is that incompetence or is that just a bad ideology? You know, it's probably a lot of both. Biden even had the goal to attack our brave border agents in the midst of this nightmarish disaster. And remember the horses? These guys were the horses to keep illegal immigrants out of our country or to keep them at bay. And now they're fighting for their lives. Those people. And it wasn't a whip, by the way. They didn't have whips. They didn't have whips. What a sad thing is going on. In the Republican Party, we will always stand with law enforcement.
What do you say when this? What do you say will this will incite violence when over a year left has daily violence perpetrated against anyone who do not share the ideas? Seriously, do you not see the massive hypocrisy? Hey, buddy, wake up. So the difference here. So the problem here is that, and I know this is going to be a shocker to you, but the president or the former president of the United States is the one who continues to speak in this manner. Holy yikes, is this hard to understand? Do you not see the severity and the difference between like what people, the difference here? This is literally the president of the United States talking in this manner. When have you heard ever a president or former president speak in this manner? That there's an existential threat to the country, that your only options are literally to fight to save America because all the election systems are rigged? Wait, are you okay?
Corrupt election. They rigged the election, and now, based on the rigged election, they're destroying our country. That's not a mandate, that's a destruction of our country. Remember, this is not about me being robbed of an election. This is about the American people having their country taken away from them. That's what it's really about.
Yeah, okay.
Just recently, we got the results of the Arizona forensic audit, but the papers refused to report it the way it was, which showed massive irregularities. To put it
Wait, what is this whataboutism? Hey, focus. We're watching this right now. So, are you okay with this? Are you okay with the former president of the United States talking in this manner? And at the time, he was the president when he was continuing to talk in this manner. He, for months, said that the election was going to be rigged. He, for months, said that he didn't know if he was going to accept the results of the election. Is this okay? Because this was the what we're talking about right now. If I stood up and started giving speeches about the same stuff, the FBI would arrest me for trying to overthrow the government. True.
nicely, that's a nice word. A few of the findings. 23,344 mail-in ballots came from people who no longer lived at that address. Oh, that's wonderful. The entire margin in the state, remember, or as they say, lost. We didn't lose. But the number they adopted was 10,457. That's why I lost by 10,000 votes, a little more than 10,000. There was no chain of custody, which you have to have, provided for, listen to this, no chain of custody for 1.9 million mail-in ballots. Now think of that. We need 10,000. There's no chain of custody for 1.9 million. There were 2,500 duplicated ballots with no serial numbers. Oh, they have to have a serial number. What happened to the serial number? There was also missing serial numbers on thousands and thousands of adjudicated ballots. At least 1,900 blank mail-in ballot envelopes were discovered. Well, it's not supposed to be blank. There were numerous bad signatures or mail-in ballot envelopes that should not have been
I don't believe a word that's being said right now.
counted. These are all things that they have. 2,081.
So keep in mind that we've done audit after audit after audit. We've done recounts. We've done paper ballots recounts. We've done audit of that audit. We've done a fourth audit in Arizona, and each and every one of them seem to be in line with the original results. There has been at most a handful of folks who are trying to test our system and have been caught. So yeah.
Votes were cast by people who had moved out of the state. Oh, that's wonderful. But, we're talking about Arizona. You're supposed to live in Arizona. 10,324 voters might have voted in multiple counties. Oh, well, that's okay. I vote here. Let's vote in another county, maybe 2 or 3 or 4. 284,412 ballot images were, quote, corrupt. They quoted corrupt or missing. Oh, but I only lost by.
Oh, so now we're pivoting.
In addition, the auditors discovered that.
Oof! Yikes! We couldn't denounce this, so now we're pivoting. Oof! Hey, can somebody catch those goalposts? Because they're running out the other side. Quick, somebody catch those goalposts.
Millions of the election-related files, the files, were deleted during and after the election in violation of federal law, including a purge of the election management system software the day before the audit began. Oh, I see. And the Justice Department was scared or impotent. They didn't want to do anything about it. It's been going on for years, but never like this. This, again, they used COVID in order to cheat with all of these ballots and all of this early voting and late voting. Likewise, the Supreme Court refused to hear the case by Texas and almost 20 other states. And
yeah, because it had no standing. Okay, so I did a video a while ago as the elections were getting underway that the reason why he wanted to shove in there or shoehorn in there a third Supreme Court justice was because he thought that that was going to be his ticket in the event that he should lose. And sure enough, I was right.
now their approval rating is the lowest it's been in memory. They have the lowest approval rating in memory, and I believe it's for the reason that they refused or didn't have the courage. They rule against me all the time, very personal rulings. They didn't have the courage to do something about the election, and I believe that's the real reason their ratings or their approval numbers are so low. These horrific findings are now in the hands of the Arizona Attorney General, and let's hope that he does the right thing for our country. I don't know that he will. But let's hope he does. Our country needs it. Arizona needs it. And with all of those numbers being so horrible, we did.
Look at these clowns.
We did.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't say. I shouldn't say that. These people are propagandists to the point where they're following literally Jim Jones over here to the Kool-Aid. That's literally what's happening here. They're following Jim Jones over here to the Kool-Aid.
Thank you. Very, very sad for our country. The whole world laughs at us on this, too. This, the border, Afghanistan.
Well, they laughed all right when you were in office. That's true.
But with all of those numbers being so horrible, Arizona was, in my opinion, the least corrupt of the other swing states. I think it was the least corrupt. It was so corrupt. You know, they use the word determinative. That means, are there enough votes? Like, for instance, if you had 300 dead people voting, but you needed 10,000 votes. I wouldn't even talk about that. But we have a determinative result many, many times over. So many times over. Otherwise, I wouldn't bring it up. It was recently reported that 43,000 absentee ballot votes were counted in DeKalb County, Georgia, that violated the chain of custody rules. 43,000. Georgia was decided by only 11,779 votes. In other words, I needed 11,779.
Yeah, and then
they have
you
40,000
phone called
here,
the
20,000 here. There would be
election official to try to find those votes. It's documented.
other infractions in Georgia. But the Secretary of State, Raffensperger, and the Governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, who I got elected by giving him an endorsement. Thank you very much for that recommendation to endorse this guy. Absolutely refused to do anything about it. He hurt our party and he hurt our country very badly. Kemp was in last place when I endorsed him, and he ended up winning because of my endorsement in a landslide. He's afraid of Stacey Abrams. I don't know what the hell that she's got, but he and the Republicans, but he is afraid of Stacey Abrams and refuses to take on
That's not what happened. What happened was that there was a audit. There was an audit, there was a count, and there was a recount, I believe. I think they did a machine recount, and then they did a paper recount. And all of that just basically continued to prove the same thing, same result. Period. Holy yikes, Batman. So what do you suggest? What are you proposing here? Nothan Fix whatever your name is. What are you proposing here? Huh?
Democrats in the state of Georgia just refuse it. I know it's fraught with danger. It's fraught with danger, but you have to do it. It's for the country. But think of this. I win Alabama. I love Alabama. I win Alabama by a record vote. A record. I win South Carolina by a record vote.
What does that mean?
Right next
Can
to them
you
is Georgia, and I lose by that much. It doesn't work that way. A new investigation by True the Vote alleges a gigantic illegal ballot harvesting operation involving large numbers of people throughout the state of Georgia and many other places. Why aren't they investigating this? If they are not investigating it, Jody Heiss will end up taking over that job, and he'll investigate. Congressman Jody Heiss gave up his
that never happened.
absolutely guaranteed seat because he's so
no,
upset about how
please
corrupt it is in
explain.
Georgia. Also in Georgia,
Explain what you
everybody's
really
heard the
want.
water main break story.
Explain what you really want. And furthermore, the proof that like the type of rhetoric that Trump is issuing is quite effective as this person here. Is completely fine with what happened in January 6th. And seemingly is completely fine with further calls to action. And is seemingly fine with further calls to violent action, and then has the audacity to come in here and do whataboutism?
Right? Where people were rushed out of the vote tabulation room because of a water main break. There's a water main break. Everybody leave. They all ran out. But there was no water main break. Only to see a crew of Democrat operatives or whoever come back and start pouring votes.
Yeah, I
into
know what he
machines from
wants,
offices that mysteriously
Eric.
appeared from under a table.
He's basically taking Trump's call to action.
From under a table. And the governor found nothing wrong with that, and the Justice Department found nothing wrong with that. And it's on tape. And it's like baseball now and football. They do action replays in magnified fashion. They have a fashionable magnified tape, and you can see just about everything. It's a sad thing. I think they have cases where they had the same one 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. But that was all a fake story. There was no water main break. And then they actually said, no, the water main break took place 250 miles away, somebody said. I
How
don't know
many
if that's correct or not, but they
conspiracies
look at all over
can
the
this
place
guy
where
say in
water
2
main break.
hours every...
So Georgia's
he
very,
says
very
it's
sad.
some
The law
back channel
passes is tough enough, by the
conspiracy?
way.
True.
They weakened it because Stacey
But
Abrams
it
wanted
fits his
She
world,
wanted to weaken it, do whatever she
his
said, basically.
reality,
Hey,
though.
maybe she'll be running for president. I'd like that. You know? Let's run against Stacey Abrams. I'd like that. In Pennsylvania, there were reportedly hundreds of thousands of more votes than there were voters. Oh, I see. Philadelphia. more
That's
votes
not
than
how
voters.
this...
That's a tough one to explain.
That's not how this
Why didn't they do
works.
something about that? Hopefully the people of
This is
Pennsylvania are angry
Streambook
that
text. Yeah,
this
you
bill
haven't
happened.
really responded
It
to
will
any
now
of the
allow
points.
the Republican
It's kind of
majority
sad.
to be reelected if they don't get to the bottom of it fast. But there's no getting to
It's kind of sad. You haven't really been able to successfully respond to any of the points, even the points from chat. It's kind of sad, dude. I mean, like, just I'm glad that you're at least listening or attempting to listen, but Jesus Christ, the fact that you can speed up the speech and still hear every word says something. Oh yeah, I'm used to hearing it like 2 times speed. Just look at Sidney Powell and Rudy's current situations. How can anyone else think that and Trump is still right? Yeah, I know. I know.
to the bottom. We won the state. You know, I was up by massive numbers on election day. It was even, the news was saying, wow, what a big lead in Pennsylvania. I love Pennsylvania. I went to school in Pennsylvania, college. But what a great state, and what great people. And I was up by so much, all of a sudden,
Well, I think the
polls
right
closed,
word would be
tabulation centers
insurrection.
closed, 3 o'clock in the morning. And shortly thereafter, we're tied. And then we're losing by just a little bit. It's always, we're just losing by just a little bit. No, it's a disgrace. And the U.S. Attorney said that he was told by the Attorney General not to do anything. U.S. Attorney was a pretty tough guy. He was told not to do anything by the Attorney General.
Yeah,
the Attorney General
because we knew this would happen, right? Remember how like there was a lot of people, a lot of news outlets reporting on the idea that, hey, look, listen, a lot of these folks are not going to be voting by mail. So the initial counts are overwhelmingly going to be for Trump. And then when all the mail-in ballots start to come in, because of course, a lot of, especially during the pandemic and stuff like that, a lot of the Democratic voters decided to use mail-in ballots because it's a legal, perfectly valid way of voting, started to come in. And that's when the tide started to turn. So yeah, dude, just take your L, move on.
It's probably the easy way out, but so bad for our country. The U.S. Attorney of Philadelphia in the Philadelphia area said, I was told in writing, said I was told not to do anything, not to pursue it. And Philadelphia was so corrupt. Pittsburgh was very corrupt, they say. But think of it, more votes than you had voters. That's a pretty easy one. We don't have to go into a lot of detail. That's a pretty easy one. In Pennsylvania, thousands of voters reported receiving at least 2 ballots in the mail, and many others reported receiving mail-in ballots without requesting them. They just happened to flow in. They flowed in.
Okay. So people got ballots. Okay. Now show me where they sent 2 mail-in ballots at the same time to try to vote twice. Show me where the fraud happened. Like, if you receive a mail-in ballot, even if it was an accident, that doesn't mean, or on purpose, that doesn't mean you actually voted. You know that, right? And just because you received the ballot doesn't mean you voted. For all we know, some of those people never even used it. There's literally no point in having a discussion. Getting banned while trolling lefties is my goal to preserve my sanity. Then why are you here? Because first of all, you're just not listening, or you're okay with this type of rhetoric that he's espousing, in which case, like, get fucked. And second of all, it's unbelievable how lies, just blatant lies, are accepted as truth, right? Now that is a difficult truth. The amount of lies that you're just being told blatant, like, joking aside, Nothan, like, being completely honest with you, the amount of lies, provable lies, that I've been systematically trying to tell you where the lies are and why they are lies is just amazing to me. That you just completely fine with it. Completely fine with just being lied to in the straight, bold-faced lies, straight to the face.
On election day, thousands of people were complaining that they weren't allowed to vote because they were told that their ballot
I
had
hope that
already
you
been cast.
reconsider.
How many people you're...
In fact, I hope that you just kind of like, not now, just kind of like think back and think on this and realize just how like manipulative, abusive this person is. And then go back. Go back to all the claims that he made. And tell me which one of those were true. Not me, but just do that as like a exercise on critical thinking, right? Just think about it, all right? Not now, but just think on it.
and I, you had a good, you had a great governor, you had a clean, who happens to be here? Where is she? Where's your governor? Stand up. Stand up, Kim. Great governor. I'll be introducing you. No, she did a great job. Kim, if you had more votes than you had voters, would that bother you? When they say, sir, you have more votes than voters, and they don't want to do anything about it. They complain vehemently. Some laughed and discussed. Think of it. People walk in, and they're proud. And Republicans tend to vote on election day, and the Democrats tend to use ballots, right? Maybe they're better off using ballots the way it happened.
Antifa's calling for a day of violence tomorrow. Wait, tomorrow?
They don't want anything to go wrong. So
Tomorrow?
They get up, and they get out.
October 12th? Do you have like a source for that? Or is this like Twitter posts? Okay.
No,
Wait. Okay, so you do realize that number one, these are Twitter posts, right? These are Twitter posts, right? Okay. Compared to the President of the United States. Furthermore, any call to violence is unacceptable, period.
I'm sorry you voted. This happened by the thousands and thousands. And you know what? Some would walk out laughing in disgust. Some walked out crying. So many complaints. It's such a disgrace. There's never been anything like this ever happened in our country before. And I think everybody has a good idea.
Are you sure about that? If you violate terms of service, it doesn't matter what you are, you will be banned. 100%. If you violate terms of service on Twitter or Facebook, dude, I know like lefty Facebook complaining about being banned all the time. So yeah, it happens. If you If you violate terms of service and you say stuff that you're not supposed to say or calls to violence, and that's true, you will be banned. So I don't know. He got banned off Twitter for repeatedly violating terms of service despite being told multiple times, so on and so forth. So yeah, no, he doesn't do it on Twitter. He just speaks to the entire country on TV.
Who got those votes? Do you ever see some of those so-called lock boxes? I call them unlocked boxes. 97% of the vote goes to Sleepy Joe Biden. 97. I said, you know, I did really well in that state. I don't think I only got 3%. You gotta look at those boxes. You have to look at the tabulation at the numbers, the unlocked boxes. In Michigan,
He's talking about, I believe, mail-in ballots, which it's obvious. The overwhelming majority of mail-in ballots were going to be for Joe Biden. VP Pat Sama, thank you so much. Or V Pat Sama, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that.
the legislature found that over 300,000 people were listed on the voter rolls, even though they hadn't voted in over 20 years. Oh. And again in Detroit, which is known as the single most corrupt election venue in the country for many years.
Okay.
But nobody...
Wait, so a person can be inactive for 20 years and then go out to vote. Wait, this was one of the most, this election had one of the highest turnouts in 100 years. So yeah, you're gonna have people who haven't voted for decades coming out. Yeah. Okay.
They want to look at that. There were many more votes than there were voters. And if you saw the percentage of errors on the vote, it was almost infinitesimal.
That's right,
4 years ago, when you didn't have all the mail-in ballot and all of the, it wasn't like it was this time, where they had 4%. This year we had none with mail-in ballots, they had almost nothing. And then I have to listen to people and they say there was no fraud. There was no fraud. Over 40 years, bellwether counties have correctly predicted every election. Bellwether county is a big deal. I won almost every bellwether county, more than any other president. I won 18 out of 19. No president has ever done that. 18 out of 19. If you got just a small number,
yeah, but you lost the rest.
18 out of 90, the most any president's ever won. Think of it. We won 27 out of 27 toss-up House races. We won all 27. So they like to say, well, the people of the House were more popular than Trump. No, I made robocalls for them. I made calls for them. I helped them. And some of them said to me, a lot of them said, it's impossible. We got X percentage of vote. I got more than you, but you were much more popular in my district than I was. It's amazing. That's what happened to our country. I had numerous calls from people saying, sir, it's not possible that I beat you. Every poll, there was no way that I beat you. This election was rigged. They said that.
Oh my goodness. It's not, it
no
wasn't
presidential
rigged.
candidate has ever lost an election while winning Florida, Ohio, and a place called Iowa.
Just got back to the potentially looking at charges seditious conspiracy and extreme serious charge of unpaid charity for group of people constantly going on about. Yeah, it doesn't have to make any sense.
If you win that, you don't lose. Never happened. All these elections, so many years, never happened. Thank you very much, Iowa. We love you. Thank you. Joe Biden lost with the African-American population to former President Barack Hussein Obama in every single state other than the 5 swing states. In other words, the only states that were going to determine the election, although I think a lot of other states were corrupt also, but the only swing states that determined, that's where Biden won with the African-American population. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I don't believe that. In other words, the election was a fraud, and if we want to say...
Wait, the swing states who are the states that determine the election, the actual swing states, not the bellwether states, because the bellwether states usually give a predictive idea, but the actual swing states, all of them showed that Joe Biden won with the African American vote, and then he's like saying, "Oh, I don't believe that. That's just like fake." Therefore, the election was rigged. Holy yikes! Flawless logic, ladies and gentlemen. Flawless logic.
Great again. We have only one choice. We must elect strong and unyielding America First Republicans at every level, and we must pass a complete overhaul of our entire election system
America
to
First.
ensure it's free, fair, honest, and able to be fully and quickly audited.
Yikes.
I tell a lot of these Republicans in Congress and all, they don't want to get involved, and I say, go ahead, let's go. Thank you for your support. You've been incredible. I've always been incredible. But I tell a lot of these Republicans, some rhinos, but people that do like us, people that love the country, sir, think to the future. You shouldn't go back to the past. You have to think. I say, I've been doing this for a long time now.
Yeah, people who love the country are the people that agree with me.
Not as long as it's most of us, but for a long time. And I'm telling you, the single biggest issue, as bad as the border is, it's horrible. Horrible.
This is so dangerous.
As bad as that is, the single biggest issue, the issue that gets the most pull, the most respect, the biggest cheers, is talking about the election fraud of 2020 presidential election. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And these guys will say, and they mean it, you have some bad guys, and then you have the Democrats, they don't want to be caught. A lot of the steal, a lot of what they do is they don't want to talk about it because they know we're so close. They don't want to talk. And when they say cancel and cancel culture, you know why it's canceled? It's not canceled for any other reason. It's canceled because they don't want anyone talking about the election. You can't, they don't.
Oh, yeah. Cancel culture is when we don't talk about the stuff that the ludicrous conspiracy theories that I have. That's cancel culture. Correct.
Don't write about it. I'll bet you their damn cameras went off. They don't talk about it. They don't write about it because they know they got caught. They know they got caught. All you have to do is listen to the numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And remember what I said.
Lawless.
Arizona was more honest than the other states.
Truly an intellectual giant on stage. So at this point, I think we can I think we can safely say we're getting everything we need to get from this speech. Usually, it's filled with conspiracy theories, lies, just bold-faced lies, bold-faced claims about the election. Again, 11 months later. 11 months later. And then talking about how you need to save your country, fight for your country. Also, you have no other recourse because the election systems are rigged and you can't trust the elections. So what do you think people are going to do? Yep. This is very dangerous. He continues to push this. 11 months out. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. "2024 is going to be wild." If he runs, yeah, it might. If he runs, it might. Hey, Anarchist Laboratory, how's it going? Can everybody go to twitch.tv/Anarchist Laboratory? Skidadeer, I believe, also streams. Please go to twitch.tv/Skidadeer. I think I saw somebody else here. Alio, twitch.tv/Alio share. And of course, twitch.tv/Surfer McGrady. Wonderful folks in chat. Anyways, dangerous, very dangerous speech. Samuel and the Kind Dragon is also a streamer. Thank you, I appreciate that. Let's throw him a little diamond. Please go follow twitch.tv/Samuel and the Kind Dragon, please. Please don't follow me, chat. If you're a streamer, please follow Eric as well. Or, you know, Potato Van Plug. Lots of friendly folks in chat. I appreciate you guys hanging out today. Alright, we gotta run through some of these headlines before, Eric needs more follows. Yeah, if Eric, if you're a streamer, please go follow twitch.tv/Eric. I don't stream, I don't even have a microphone. Okay. Okay. Well, don't be shy, and if you do stream or if you ever get into streaming, please let us know. True. Anyways. That being said, Trump remains very popular with Republicans and has made a serious gain with independents. Again, folks, eyes open, because should the Democratic Party fail to get their collective, they will lose. A complete sweep. And if they get completely swept in the midterms, 2024 is going to be disastrous. Just saying, you should probably get to work, and you should probably do what's right for the American people. Oh my god, ADT is himself now. Oh no. Wait, why can't I say uh-oh. Is memory hold? What? Shoot. Tucker. Speaking of conspiratorial nonsense.
Sat down with a long interview with sat down with a long interview with Mike Flynn. It's coming out Monday. And he told us what is really obvious to everyone who watches. An unelected group within Washington effectively runs the country without reference to voters. Here's his assessment.
We have...
One could say... I mean, all he needs to say is a cabal of people. Holy yikes.
A group within Washington effectively runs the country without reference to voters. Here's his assessment.
We have two separate governments. We have the one that actually gets elected and goes into office, and then you have a government inside of Washington, D.C. that operates under no rules, no authorities other than their own or who's ever in charge of their
Sounds like that government was still controlled by Barack Obama.
Yeah, and I would say that that to a degree is what we're operating with today.
Okay. You know that things are in desperate times when you hear Tucker Carlson trying to allude that there's a conspiratorial cabal behind the scenes that is controlled by Obama. I mean, do these people literally have nothing else? When in doubt, something Obama, and make sure that you say Barack Hussein Obama just for the sprinkle of, you know, xenophobia. Just add that in there as well. And that's it. That's what you sell your users. You say something Barack Obama. Jesus Christ, is Flynn trustworthy? No, of course not. This is like the video version of conservative cell phones. They're so close to getting it, but then veer off right off the cliff. Yep.
By the way, Mike Flynn is not some internet celebrity or conservative activist. He was a 3-star general. He was the head of an intelligence agency.
Yes,
He's the
I agree.
number 2 guy for all American intelligence. He spent his entire life working in the federal government.
True. And you know what? He went off the deep end. He lied about what he said to Congress. He lied to federal authorities, from what I can understand. I mean, he might listen, Silver Knight Dragon. There's a lot of intelligent people who fall off the deep end because of whatever incident. Maybe something happened. I don't know. But there's a lot of quite frankly intelligent people who can fall off the deep end. I mean, it's not unheard of. My brain just broke hearing that. True.
And succeeding at that. So he knows what he's talking about. He is a reliable guide to how the government actually works.
He's a reliable guide. Also, didn't they accuse him of being like a traitor or something? I'm pretty sure the right wing went super hard on him. But he's also like really into QAnon stuff. And he's also said something to the effect of the US needs a coup like in Myanmar. He'd be okay with that. Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know if he's the most reliable guy.
Our whole conversation with Mike Flynn, by the way,
he also got caught lying. So I don't know. Reliable source? Okay.
Tucker Carlson today. It's coming out Monday on Fox Nation. But it's...
Holy yikes, Batman. Oh, to the FBI. Okay, that's what it is. To the FBI. Thank you, random commenter. There's lots of political science data that shows that government is unresponsive to voters in the US, but not because they're listening to cabal category theory people, they're listening to economic and social elites. Right, or folks that have a lot of wealth and influence, right? Like, just to be clear and just to have, like, clear language, they listen, or they tend to listen to folks who have a lot of wealth and power and influence, therefore they get a seat at the table versus the rest of the folks, right? Tucker needs a roasting like Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani. Tucker roasts himself, fit to mention. Tucker literally roasts himself. Yeah, he's not... Oh, yeah, and again, just for the folks who are... like on the right, Tucker is not a journalist. He is not a journalist. He is not news. He is not nothing but a propagandist. He's nothing much. He's nothing. He's there not to give you facts. Okay, he's there to paint you a picture, to paint you a narrative. Okay? Just to be clear, Tucker's not there to give you facts. Tucker's not there to tell you the truth. He's there to get money. Okay? Alright, folks. We've got 20 minutes, and we've got to run through all of these climate change news, because of course, one of the main topics that we focus here is climate change. So for those of you who are new to the channel, we do a lot of climate change news. So yeah, after that pretty headache-inducing, and I'm sorry I had to subject you to that. Sorry, my work is... Oh boy. Okay. Alio with the 10 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, he successfully argued in court that... Jeez. Can I stop these notifications? Yeah, I need comfort food. Trust me, after listening to Trump for about an hour and a half or so, it is, yeah, I don't blame you. But yeah, it's about to get spicy. ADT did a great job on Trump. Thank you, I appreciate that. It's not really that hard, to be honest. I'm not even gonna front with you folks. It's really not that hard. I mean, like, to dismantle or to poke holes in the stuff that Trump says, it's not really that hard. I know that he is a self-proclaimed very stable genius, but I know that he's a self-proclaimed very stable genius, but to be quite honest, it's not really that. All you gotta do is apply some critical thinking and apply like basic common sense as to what the things that are being said to you and why. Waxing philosophical, howdy. And this is what I tried to leave you guys with, right? Please, every time someone tells you something, or you read an article, or you listen to one of the bobbleheads on the news, or myself, right? I'm a bobblehead, am I not? I'm a well, you could kind of consider like a online Twitch pundit, right? Everything that these pundits say, everything that some of these articles are written, they have a specific language and they use specific rhetoric for a reason. And I urge people to understand and to try to look and read between the lines, and even through myself, right? I mean, obviously, I have a perspective. This is my perspective, okay? And there are reasons why I give you the perspectives that I do. Carlos is my favorite propagandist, true. No bobbles in your head, true. Howdy, Peter Parker. That's right, Anarchist Laboratory. It's so... It's so heartbreaking. It really is. California fires may have killed hundreds of giant sequoias. These are trees that have been, in some cases, thousands of years. Northern California wildfire may have killed hundreds of giant sequoias as they swept through groves of majestic monarchs in Sierra Nevada, and officials said on Wednesday. It's heartbreaking, said Christy Brigham, the head of resource management and science for Sequoia and King Canyon National Parks. The lightning-caused KNP complex that erupted on September 9th has burned into 15 giant sequoia groves in the park. More than 2,000 firefighters are battling in the blaze, sometimes in treacherous terrain. On Wednesday afternoon, 4 people working on the fire were injured when a tree fell on them. Yikes. The 4 were airlifted to a hospital, while the injuries are serious. They are in stable condition. The KNP complex was only 11% contained after burning 134 square miles of forest. Cooler weather has helped slow the flames, and the area could see some slight rain on Friday. The fire's impact on giant sequoia groves was mixed. Most saw low to medium intensity fire behavior that the sequoias have evolved to survive. Impressive. However, it appears that 2 groves, including one with 5,000 trees, were seared by high intensity fires that can send up to 100-foot flames capable of burning the canopies of the towering trees. That leaves the monarchs at risk of going up like a Roman candle. The 2 burned trees fell in the giant forest, which is home to about 2,000 sequoias, including the General Sherman tree, which is considered the world's largest by volume. However, the most notable trees survived, and Brigham said the grove appeared to be mostly intact. However, let me just skip through some of these here. However, the full extent of the damage won't be known for months. Firefighters are still occupied protecting the trees, homes, and lives and can't safely reach steep or remote groves that lack roads or even trails. Yikes. The point is, like, the reason why climate change is so important to talk about is because each one of these events are exacerbated. Every time a wildfire happens, you can be assured that climate change is exacerbating this, right? I'm not making this up. I'm literally using the IPCC's findings, which they took with decades of data. Over 14,000 international climate scientists came together with all of their expertise and backgrounds and data together to paint this picture for us. And one of the things that they, in several instances, what they reiterated is that a lot of these weather events are exacerbated by climate change. Giant sequoias grow naturally only in the Sierra Nevada, the world's most massive trees. They can soar up to 250 feet with trunks 20 feet in diameter and can live for thousands of years. The trees need low-intensity fire to reproduce. Flames thin out in the forest. Competitors such as cedars clearing away shade in the heat causes the seedlings to open. But fire officials say recent blazes have been much more intense because of fire suppression efforts left more undergrowth that's turned bone dry from drought driven by climate change. Exactly. This is really sad. This is a tragic story. Really, when you stand by a tree that big and old, 1,000 to 2,000 years old, the loss of any is a heartbreak. You can't get it back. It's irreplaceable. True. It's incredibly sad. And the problem is exacerbated by a more than 20-year Western mega drought that studies link to human-caused climate change. Period. Full stop. %, in one season. I should go visit the one last time before they're all gone. That's so sad, Dustin. That's so sad that that's even like a thing. Investigators say the pipeline. So, by the way, folks, if you were not aware, there is yet another pipeline crack causing a ecological disaster, and it seems like this was triggered by an anchor from a ship. Investigations are still ongoing, and unfortunately, that has led to massive problems and an overall ecological disaster. Again, I see no reason why we need to continue to prop up this industry that continues to destroy not only wildlife, not only our ecological systems, not only exacerbate climate change, but to put all of that and the cherry on top, it is also a massive threat to public health. Time and time again, they tell us that these pipelines are safe. They tell us that these pipelines don't leak, and yet it keeps happening over and over and over. If we're going to build pipelines, there should be water pipelines to redistribute fresh water around the country. True! Well, I mean, like, we still have lead pipelines. But yes, you're right. Investigators say the pipeline, which caused thousands of gallons of crude oil to spill into the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Orange County, California, may have been displaced several months to a year ago. Cool. That leads me to believe there's some negligence going on here because, you know, companies are very, very on top of their infrastructure, and companies usually tend to spend all the necessary money to make sure that their equipment is up to par. Usually. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, no. PG&E neglected their infrastructure for decades, causing massive wildfires in California. Oh, wait, nope. In Texas, private companies failed to winterize their equipment and caused quite the problems in Texas. Oh, wait. Wasn't there a power company in Louisiana who also failed to prepare despite knowing ahead of time of natural disasters? Just saying. The pipeline was intact for in October of 2020 before it was deflected by 105 feet, eventually leading to damage to its casing and crack, according to Jason Naubar, Chief of Office Investigators and Analysis for the U.S. Coast Guard. They still believe the 13-inch linear crack on the pipeline was likely caused by a ship's anchor dragging along the seafloor. I'm convinced that the initial events that deflected the pipe itself was an anchor strike. Yikes. Video released Thursday by the Coast Guard showed marine growth on the damaged portion of the pipeline, which initially was enclosed in concrete. Naubar explained the linear fracture on the pipeline could have been a very gradual crack which got worse over time. In this event could have been multiple incidents and strikes on the pipeline after the initial event. We're pretty confident that this occurred several months to a year ago. Jesus Christ. Investigators are now sifting through a year's worth of data and images from multiple sources, including Marina Exchange Vessel Traffic Service, to determine when the oil spill first started. They will also be looking at every vessel movement over the pipeline over the course of the entire year. We're not ready to rule out any vessels as a contributing cause to this incident. Investigators will also examine geological events, including heavy weather event in mid-January, which may have contributed to the crack. A section of the pipe will be taken to National Transport and Safety Board Lab, so investigators can determine when and how the leak occurred. Similar anchor strikes have happened over the past 10 years, Naubar said, and there was only one event which led to an oil spill, which called a rare occurrence. Meanwhile, Orange County officials continue to ask residents and visitors to avoid the ocean water and oiled areas of the beaches. Air samples from areas potentially impacted by oil spills are within background levels below state health standards for pollutants measured. We're very encouraged by the early results of air quality sampling. Orange County Health Officer Dr. Clay Chateau said in a statement, but he added the original health advisory remains in place as cleanup efforts continue. Tar balls possibly linked to the oil spill are still washing up on San Diego beaches, county officials said on Thursday, highlighting concerns about the widening environmental impacts. While it's not impossible for this to occur naturally, the quantity is highly unlikely, highly unusual, and it's very likely that these tar balls are in fact a result of the oil spill. Yeah, no kidding. We do not know that for certain yet. Officials have collected samples which are being tested. San Diego County will declare a state of emergency if the tar balls are tied to the Orange County spill, Fletcher said, and booms, floating barriers used to contain an oil spill, have been deployed out of an abundance of caution. The news comes days after the first reports of the spill, which forced the closure of beaches and threatened coastal habitats after oil leaked into the ocean from a split or partial tear in a pipeline several miles offshore. Authorities earlier said this week the source appeared to be a 13-inch split found in 4,000 foot section of the pipe owned by Amplify Energy. TLDR, this is really bad. This to me is an ecological disaster. According to OWCN, as of Thursday evening, the number of wildlife recovered in the response totaled 35, including 10 birds recovered dead. The oil spill has been designated a major marine casualty. The U.S. Coast Guard announced Thursday the highest level of severity. In this case, it's been designated as such due to the potential involvement of a vessel, and the resulting damage is estimated in excess of $500,000. A class action lawsuit was filed against Amplify Energy and affiliated corporations Thursday on behalf of the business owners impacted by the oil spill, claiming the companies failed to maintain their pipeline. I would not be surprised if that ended up being the case. I would not be surprised, although the investigation is still ongoing, and I'm sure we'll find out more soon. It would not surprise me that it was as a result of negligence. Most oftentimes it is. Chinese officials are ordering coal plants to dramatically ramp up production. The European Union is facing a revolt over its ambitious Green Deal on climate. U.S. President Joe is petitioning OPEC nations to boost oil production. So much for the fight against climate crisis. It's the energy crisis that's taken precedent, and it couldn't have come at a more crucial time. What? In just 3 weeks, leaders and negotiators will meet for COP26 international climate talks in the Scottish city of Glasgow. Momentum was building for putting an end date on coal and speeding up the global transition from climate-altering fossil fuels to renewables before the crisis hit. But a rush back to fossil fuels, worrying some experts at this moment in time, could slow down the transition, particularly in a phase out of coal, now in closer reach than any other time in history. The worry with China's power crunch is that it appears to be strengthening the argument for pro-coal interests that the transition to renewables is happening too fast. Yeah, that's a meme. That's a meme. The ability for us to transfer to renewables is that's often a climate change denial talking point. They're like, it's too fast. Whoa, slow down. You know, they'll say things like this. Christine Shearer, Global Energy Monitor Programs Director for Coal, which tracks the use of fossil fuels around the world. With winter fast approaching, the global economy rebounding from COVID-19 pandemic faster than the world had prepared for, governments are being forced to reach for sources of energy that are readily available. The infrastructure that exists to harness energy from renewables like wind and solar simply isn't enough to meet demand. Well, then incentivize it and build it. Jesus Christ. Then incentivize it and build it. What bad things happen if we transition too fast? The fossil fuel industry loses money. That's it. Did you watch Ben Shapiro crying about Hassan Piker because he bought a house? Yeah, I don't care too much for that type of discourse. It's like, dude, there's valid criticisms, but it's just not what I do. Yeah, there are jobs in all of this. That's right, Thandera. A lot of decision makers are in sort of panic in some ways about the social response. Throwing more money at fossil fuels is not a solution, she said, and some short-term solutions are contradictory to long-term sustainable goals. A better response would be to turbocharge funding for deploying renewable energy and energy efficiency programs, including get infrastructure projects that were hampered by the pandemic off the ground. True. And there entails the dichotomy of the crisis. The world can either turbocharge efforts into renewables or slow it down and lean more on fossil fuels, as is happening right now. Yeah. Except this is not acceptable to do this, especially at this pivotal time. There are several reasons for the energy crunch beyond the rebound of the pandemic. Power from renewables has been below expectations in UK and the continental Europe. The summer was less windy as usual, so wind power under-delivered. In China, lower rainfall meant less energy from the country's hydropower plants. On top of that, Russia has been accused of slowing gas supplies to Europe to encourage a faster approval process for its Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline that runs under the Baltic Sea to Germany. I fail to buy this because you have so much more options, and you can deploy multiple renewable sources at once in the event that it's less windy. And there's a thing called solar, wind, hydroelectric. All of these things are in combination more than adequate. Besides, from what I understand, our technology nowadays can easily handle this. Chinese authorities have kept mountains of coal imported from Australia sitting at docks for months, refusing to show Australia that it is willing to take its exports, as the two countries remain cold over Canberra's calls for an investigation into the origins of COVID-19 that has only added to the power shortage in the country. Like, again, I don't get it. if you want to be as energy independent and you don't want to squabble over countries for pipelines and stuff like this and coal, hey, build renewable energy so you don't have to. Easy. We will see what happens in Glasgow, COP26, but I wouldn't really hold my breath. It seems all the folks who are super adamant against taking any climate action are all the folks who are responsible for it. Just saying. And to top it off, Clown of the Year, Elon Musk, says we shouldn't worry about methane. Even though the reality is, cutting methane would be one of the best ways to buy us time for dealing with climate change. Cutting methane is crucial. Cutting methane is crucial in our fight against climate change. Except Elon Musk is not a climate scientist or any scientist of any sort. So we can easily just take this and laugh. Yeah, but that would not be logical and not feed the corruption machine, though. True. Well, somebody think of the rich people. Glasgow. Glasgow, that is near it. Gotcha. Yeah, he's an engineer, not a climate scientist. Okay, folks, I think we did it. I think we did a pretty good job of getting through all of the headlines that we needed to. Please, folks, climate change is a very serious topic, and I highly encourage you folks to read the IPCC reports that have recently come out. There's more coming, I think, towards the beginning of 2022, and I believe that I believe that it's up to us to make sure that we pay attention to what happens in our local politics, to make sure that we get out there and vote, and to make sure that we do whatever we can in the time that we have with whatever tools that we have to bring awareness to this issue, to bring solutions to the table, and to pressure the government that is here to do something. Please. Joe Biden talks really beautifully about how we need to address climate change. Joe Biden talks really beautifully about the severity of fossil fuels and all of this stuff, and to put it in a understandable term, all this blah blah blah, Green New Deal, blah blah blah, Build Back Better, and yet has done absolutely nothing palpable on the board. Has done really nothing except, oh yeah, we're gonna put some regulations that were back there in the Obama era, and other than that, yeah, that's about it, unless they really get serious and they really put something on the board so that we can move in a direction to try to solve this. That's what needs to be happening, and we need to put the pressure on our representatives as well. It's up to us. I mean, it is our representatives, our elected officials. Was there something about Amazon wanting to buy NASA? Not sure. And society just ignore Musk already? True. A B-52 bomber flying around for an hour is equivalent to driving a car for 7 years. Yikes. Yeah, the military does have a massive, massive carbon footprint. The CEO situation is depressing. True. True. Alright, folks, we did it. We got through it. Thank you guys for hanging out here. I appreciate it. Engineering with Rosie to get unpolitical facts. She's a great watch for sure. I'm gonna hang on to that. As always, folks, thank you so much for hanging out here. Please, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to follow. Don't forget to do the YouTubes. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Don't forget to do all of the social medias. Join us on the Discord. Please be aware. Have a Poggers Day. You have a Pog Day. Make sure, folks, I did hear a rumor down the grapevine that there is a potential for some type of like hacking coordination between a lot of social medias, including Discord. Please be safe. Please be aware. Please take into consideration any random friend requests or any weird links, all of that. Please just be aware of that. Hi, I'm new. We're gonna make a game if you're interested. No idea. Thanks, ADT. Thank you. I appreciate that. Please, folks, stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya. I'll check it out, Thinking Sabercat. Later. Alright, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.